Hello everyone, I'm CPC Antimark, and today we will be talking about some interesting facts about Super Smash Bros., arguably one of the most famous video game franchises ever created. All of these facts have been researched to ensure as much accuracy as possible, so if any of the things that I state in this video are non-factual or inaccurate in any way, please do not hesitate to let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to address these issues as soon as possible. With that being said, let's get started. When Sakurai began planning the very first game, he didn't plan on bringing Nintendo characters together. Instead, he wanted to create a fighting game codenamed Pepsi Man. I don't know what he had against Coke. That had unique characters and mechanics. Of course, he ended up using these unique mechanics when going with the idea of Super Smash Bros., and he ended up creating the very first demonstration version of this game, which included Mario, Donkey Kong, Samus, and Fox. So technically these were actually the four original fighters for the game, unlike the order that they used for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. One of the most outrageously represented series in Smash is the Fire Emblem franchise, which today has 8 representatives. That's a lot of representatives from one series in general, as well as coming from literally a game that is all about sword fighting and using weapons such as axes and swords, of course. So you can probably see why people are a little upset whenever they see a new Fire Emblem fighter in a game. However, when Super Smash Bros. Melee released, Fire Emblem Binding Blade had technically not actually launched yet. This means that Roy's first ever appearance was actually Super Smash Bros. Melee instead of a Fire Emblem game. Of course, a similar marketing technique would later be used for Corrin and Byleth. However, this was the only time where a fighter was technically released in Smash before making any other appearances. Back in the good old days, Smash creator Masahiro Sakurai released a poll to the public concerning possible candidates for what was then labeled as a potential Smash 2. The poll featured sections for various Nintendo series and other things outside of Nintendo. From the Mario franchise, Bowser, Peach, and Wario were the most voted. Very weird to think that at one point in time Bowser was a highly requested Smash character. Other top-of-the-list characters included, from the Zelda franchise, Ganondorf, Zelda, Young Link, or according to an accurate translation, Child Link, and Sheik. From the Kirby franchise, King Dedede, Gooey, and then Meta Knight. Yes, Gooey seriously had more votes than Meta Knight. I feel kind of bad for him now, actually. From the Mother and Earthbound franchises, Jeff and Mr. Saturn, not Lucas, even though he actually had been considered to entirely replace Ness in this sequel. From the Star Fox franchise, Falco, Slurpee, and Wolf. Don't know what they had against Peppy there, but it's Star Fox, so. From the Fire Emblem franchise, yes, they seriously, as far as I know, had a section for the Fire Emblem franchise. Marth, which I'm glad that was the only fighter that got many votes. And then we have our sections for third-party fighters. Surprisingly enough, there was actually an entire section dedicated to one company, which was Rare. Even more shocking, Diddy Kong and Banjo-Kazooie were both behind in number of votes, only to James Bond, who topped this section of the poll. Yes, James 006 James Bond was seriously the most requested Rare character to join Super Smash Bros. Melee. Even crazier still, this had enough of an impact on the creator that Bond was seriously considered for the roster, but has since never seen the light of day, which honestly nowadays I don't think that will ever happen given the standards that Sakurai has placed for characters being able to join Super Smash Bros. Finally, we have other third-party candidates, which included Chocobo and Doraemon on the very top. I have no idea if I pronounced either of those names right, but they seriously outvoted characters such as Bomberman, Crash Bandicoot, Mega Man, and even at the time Sonic the Hedgehog. Even though Sonic actually was intended to be in Melee but was cut due to time constraints. At the very top of that poll, the top 4 most requested characters were Bowser, King Dedede, Ganondorf, and Mewtwo from Pokemon, which at the time, again, it seems like it was really weird to actually see Bowser at the top of any kind of poll for requested fighters for Super Smash Bros., but that's 2001 for you. Snake was, without a doubt, one of the most exciting additions to the roster of Brawl. Boy, have things changed since then. This inclusion was thanks to the fact that Sakurai happened to be close friends with Hideo Kojima. Again, I'm very sorry if I pronounced those names wrong, but I have no idea how to pronounce them, so I'm doing my best here, guys. Kojima was a creator of Metal Gear Solid, and his son just happened to be a huge fan of the Super Smash Bros. Franchise, which led him to ask Sakurai to add Solid Snake to the game. Now, this edition was first suggested for Super Smash Bros. Melee, but due to development being too far underway when the request was made, Snake was not added to the roster. Now, I mentioned that Fire Emblem has had its share of reps in the Smash franchise, but at one point, even Sakurai thought there were too many. Indeed, when he was approached about adding Corrin to the roster of 3DS and Wii U, he didn't want to bring another character from the series. Thanks, Sakurai. However, he was eventually convinced to add Corrin to promote Fire Emblem Fates. Thanks, Nintendo. Xander Mobus, I don't know if I pronounced that name right either, but again, I'm just rolling with it. The announcer of Foreign Ultimate for America, or English, or, you know, the other countries that speak English. I honestly don't know much about language in the world. Anyways, the English announcer for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate had no idea who was actually on the roster of it and its predecessor. He stated in an interview that he was handed a list of names, some of which were real and some of which were fake, and he read them off during his recording session. Of course, this could probably be explained as to keep leaks from happening, but, well, how'd that work out? The DLC content for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was something that kept the Smash community interested and entertained for nearly 3 whole years. That is much, much longer than the average lifespan of any full-on game, let alone post-release content. In order to preserve the secrecy of the nostalgic reveal trailers for each fighter, and of course the fighter themselves, you know, it just hits different whenever you watch those reveal trailers. You can't tell me I'm wrong. There was a lot of security, per se, when each fighter and trailer were in development. While Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses was not the most exciting of the 11, technically 12 reveals for Fighter Pass, there was still an incredible amount of secrecy involved when developing him. As their home game had yet to be released at the time of his development period, Sakurai had to play through an early build of Three Houses top secretly. This was kept under wraps so well that Sakurai wasn't even allowed to take the demo version of the game home with him in order to prevent any information from spilling. Which, I guess in the end, this turned out to be for the best, as, you know, I don't think Byleth's face would have been shown anytime soon on good old Grinch League. But that's a story for another time. If you watched the new presentations for DLC fighters when one was close to being released, such as, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, Mr. Sakurai presents the hero, you'll probably recall that Min Min's specific inclusion happened because ARMS producer Kazuke Yabuki, again doing my best with names here, personally requested her selection. However, you may not know that Yabuki had at one point actually considered asking to not just have Min Min be a playable fighter, but have all 15 ARMS protagonists be playable as alternate costumes or other methods like Echo Fighters, any way possible to include every protagonist's inclusion. As you can guess, this idea never made it into the game, and so Min Min, not Ninjara, joined Ultimate at the end of June 2020, which happened to be 3 months after it was revealed that an ARMS fighter would be joining Smash. Guess Nintendo wanted to prepare fans, didn't they? I don't blame them in any way, just saying. During a discussion about Sora finally joining Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as the final fighter of Fighter Pass 2, that was a lot of repetitive words in one sentence, Sakurai reported that his inclusion was not so simple compared to the other characters. I'm not talking like movesets or conceptualization. That's probably not a word, but we're gonna go with it. We are talking actually getting permission from the companies that own him and actually saying, here's the money, can we use your character? Of course, Sakurai and the people who helped make the new game knew it was possible that they could get Square Enix on board, as they had done so with Cloud, Stripe, Sephiroth, and 4 different heroes, which could have potentially been 8 had there been more development time. But they weren't so sure about being able to get Disney on board. I mean, Disney's big. I don't blame them at all for having some doubt whenever they were trying to get Disney's permission. And then, by pure coincidence, during a ceremony in 2019, Sakurai bumped into somebody who happened to work for Disney. Let's go. This brief meeting was a 1 in a million occurrence that finally got things moving along for Sora's inclusion. Shortly following this meeting, the team felt that negotiations were going well enough to publicly confirm an extra challenger pack for the second fighter packs. In the end, both Square Enix and Disney finally agreed to allow Sora to finish things off for Ultimate, which I can say, as I watched the presentation live, had a very bittersweet ending to such an incredible title. Bitter being that I was sad it was ending, but yeah, I'm just a really big Smash fan, and I really enjoyed seeing a character from a 4th-party company finally make it into Smash. And with this, we reach the end of our list. These are just some of the endless facts that could probably be shared about such a huge franchise, which, even though some of these ended up being a bit more well known than others, I figured I'd go ahead and do the hard part, which was doing the research, so that you guys could simply, just watch these random Smash clips while I read off a bunch of nerdy facts about the franchise. I don't know, just a fun way to pass by time in my opinion. But feel free to comment down below about any other facts that you might know about the game, or if there's anything that you would like to add on to any of the facts that I've given just now. You can go and put those down there as well, and I will try my best to look through them as soon as possible. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you people later.